All right, so I made a video about Nessus and creating your first scan, so I wanted to do a follow-up video. These are some very important things that you need to consider when you're going to be doing scans with Nessus and or any other utility for anything. If you're going to be scanning, you're scanning for updates, you're scanning to do patches, you're scanning for threats, whatever, antivirus scans, stuff like that, is you need to limit. You got to have a limiter in there on how many scans are happening at the same time. There's a couple different reasons. One of the reasons is the throughput on your network. If you have slow links on your network, running heavy intensive scans can definitely hinder your network. If it's running scans across the network, which Nessus does, there's a lot of data going back and forth. It's not huge intensive as far as the network goes, but if you're also trying to go through a firewall, that could also increase the issues or the performance on the firewall. So you got your basic network bandwidth, you got your firewall, and then another thing you got to think about is most environments these days are running in a virtual environment. So you're kicking off a scan and it's going to go hit how many systems all at the same time. And now all those systems that were just kind of sitting there, maybe doing very little work as far as CPU or even disk IO, they're, now they're all live and like doing something, and your performance degrades and you start having problems. So this is what I was going to talk about on this video, is how to go in to your Nessus scan, or even when you create it, and make sure that you've got the scan limited for your environment, to make sure that you're able to make sure you don't have issues like that, and or even make it so that if a system becomes unresponsive, hey, stop the scan. So what I can show you is here in Nessus, I'm gonna go and create a new basic scan, but this is what you need to do. And I have no idea why this would be under advanced, because a lot of people sometimes don't look there when they're setting stuff up. So the scan type by default, it's gonna go out and hit 30 systems at the exact same time. And it's gonna do at least 4 checks per host at a time. So like, let's say it's checking for something in IIS, it's checking something in the registry, it's checking for Windows updates, and it's checking for your antivirus version or something like that. So those are 4 different things. So it's checking 4 different things across 30 systems all at the same time. And it has a 5-second network read timeout. So I guess that's like in case the system comes unresponsive. And I've actually seen this happen, where a system has become unresponsive on the network because they were hitting an environment outside of our main production environment, and it was running on a very limited environment in a virtual situation, and it ended up taking down our virtual environment. So what I would highly suggest doing is, one, you can change this, play around with it a little bit, do it in a lab first, do it on a couple test systems, watch the IOPS on your SAN or your shared storage in your virtual environment. You can go through, you can review, look at your hosts that are hosting your VMs, look at the CPU usage, see the RAM usage when you kick this thing off, and make sure that you're not going to hinder your environment, because you can definitely get in a lot of trouble if you start taking things down running a Nessus scan. So what you can do is, there is a setting for scan low bandwidth links. So it kind of gives you like a little template. So only do 2 instead of 30, only do 2 checks with a 15-second network read timeout. That might be what works for you. But then you can also come down here in custom and go to general, enable safe checks. This is a big one right here. Stop scanning hosts that become unresponsive during scan. That is a big one. Other things that you can set up, if it matters, scan IP addresses in a random order. Usually I don't have to worry about SSH, because most of my environment is a Windows. Scan targets with multiple domain names in parallel. Excuse me. So what you want to do is, you really want to do some of your research on this and actually watch what happens when you engage a scan depending on your environment. If you're running all physical systems and most of your systems, oh, they're sitting around with like 5% CPU usage and 20 gigs of free RAM, and they're running all SSD flash, you might not have to worry about this. But if you're definitely running this in a virtual environment, you want to come in here and pay some attention to this and make sure that you have the best settings for your environment. And I can't say, hey, this is exactly what you need, because every virtual environment's a little bit different. Someone has a SAN with fast cache and mechanical disks. Someone else is running some type of SAN all flash. Some people are running vSAN. So, and yet again, even the network links. Are you running 10 gigabits per second, 25? Are you all fiber? Or are you still on copper wire? So I mean, going in here under advanced and making sure that you set this up right here, especially the max simultaneous checks per host, the max simultaneous hosts per scan. So this is probably a key one right here. You definitely want to, maybe if you're running a slow environment or you're just testing for the first time around, turn that down to maybe 5 or even 2 and see what it does to your environment when you run a full scan. All right, so I'm not going to draw this out any farther than I have to. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the chat, and I'll try to get back with you some more information, or if there's some more videos you want me to do. But definitely, I hope someone, if you're going to get into Nessus, dig in a little bit, do your research, and make sure you know what you're doing, or you're going to end up taking down your environment. Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks for watching.